Welcome, Paija Hudson, to the show. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. Tell me about yourself and your amazing life as a celebrity makeup artist.
Well, okay. Well, I love doing it, first of all. It's my passion, so it's not just a job for me.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. I've been doing it for a little over 8 years, on and off. I did have a stint in corporate America, finished college and everything, but my journey somehow led me back to makeup actually a few times in and out. And then for the past 4 years, I've been really focused on growing my audience as a beauty blogger and also as a makeup artist and now a celebrity makeup artist.
Yeah. So when you're blogging, are you talking about, like technique and beauty, or what do you exactly blog about?
A few different things. So not just technique. Well, I like to do technique, but just from a professional standpoint. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and it is makeup. There's not really a really huge wrong way to do it, but there are some things that are not okay. So I like to just give out advice from a professional standpoint. And then we also talk about makeup reviews, fun products, trends,
Oh, I like that.
fashion. I talk about some of my favorite looks I've seen on red carpets or even just runways or some of my experiences. Kind of just lifestyle more so, but always centered around beauty and fashion.
Awesome. Okay, so what inspired you to become, because you said you've done makeup professionally for 8 years and then you kind of bounce back between it, which feels like that's like you're living your life where you're supposed to be in life. Like I feel like your passion always leads you back. So what was your initial inspiration?
It's a funny story, actually. I originally wanted to learn makeup just because, honestly, when I would go out with my friends in college, I would think they would all look so pretty and I would never wear makeup because I didn't know how to do it. My mom was never into it, so she wasn't able to teach me. And then one day they kind of made a funny joke, but they were really serious when they were like, you need to learn how to do your own makeup. We're tired of doing your makeup. They're like, how we got to get ourselves ready and we got to get you ready too, you know. And I remember being mad, and something about that made me go and learn it because I was like, well, I'm going to learn it. And I'm
That was your defining moment,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
not I remember that making me go, you know what? I'm going to learn it and then I'm going to do it better than y'all. And so, and so like, again, like I'm a student of life, so my first recourse was to actually go and read makeup books. And then I also looked up not Wiki, I'm sorry, eHow. eHow had a lot of articles on how to do makeup step by step. YouTube was around back then. Jackie Aina was just starting. I think she was Little Pumpkin Pie back then. Queen of Blending. There were a lot of really noteworthy people out there that I followed. And I literally just practiced. And I would stay up all night. I would go to school, go to work, come home, study, do my homework, and then at like 10 o'clock, I'd go lock myself in the bathroom and I'd do like 2 or 3 looks, take pictures, and then I would tweet like Sam Fine and be like, can you look at my work? And he would.
Wow.
He would be like, okay, you need to adjust this and fix that.
So you were so dedicated.
Yeah, no, I was really dedicated. And like I said, this was not to become a makeup artist. This was just so that I can look good. I know, right?
This is a funny story.
And so I told you it's a funny story. And then I graduated from college when I got my bachelor's in 2010, which was like the worst year of that recession that we had.
What did you study?
I have my bachelor's in marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember calling my brother and I was depressed. I was like, I can't. I've always been self-sufficient, always. I'm gonna call my brother. I was like, I can't find a job. Like I've always been self-sufficient. I've always made good money. Like, and now I can't find a job and I have this degree. What was it all for? And he was like, are you kidding me? Like, girls are always like, I like your makeup. Do their makeup. Why don't you go make some money doing makeup? And he said, if you commit to it, I'll call a friend of mine. Her name is Nidra. Shout out Nidra. Because she helped me a lot. And he was like, if you're committed, I'll call a friend of mine and you can shadow her. And I was like, I'll do it. I need money, you know. And
so at this point, it's about, first it was to look good. Yeah. Now this is about money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just started going with her. I went with her to a couple of photo shoots. We had lots of conversations. She showed me how to do my pricing, told me what I should have in my kit, some no-nos and things like that. And it all just went on from there. And so it was never my intention to be a makeup artist. And it just kind of led me here somehow. But like, I think it's because I'm just a student at my core. And so everything I say I want to learn, I have to like study and spend those hours that they say you have, 10,000 hours or whatever to become a master of something. Right. I really have to like dedicate myself to the thing that I want to do.
I love that about you, though. I love that you always feel like a student. You're always learning. You're always evolving. And I even love like how you've evolved through the makeup, through professional makeup, to go from I just want to be cute to I just need a little hustle money to now like beauty blogging. And like I'm pretty sure in 2010 you didn't see this ahead, but I mean I think this is magnificent. So you also enjoy skincare consulting, teaching classes, and beauty blogging. Tell me about your own work-life balance.
It's not the greatest. I'll be honest. I don't want to front. I'm one of those people that I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and I'll go to the gym, and then I'll decide to start working on work, like if it's a beauty blog or something else for business at like 8 o'clock at night. And then the rest of the day, I'll just be playing catch up and doing things or running the gigs and stuff like that. So it's not the best. The only thing I do say that I'm really good at is making sure I go to the gym every morning. Like I make sure I take care of my body every morning. And at least get that in. I think that's my saving grace, because otherwise I'd probably be a hot mess. But being able to get up and start at the gym and then letting the rest of the day kind of take care of itself really helps me have some sort of balance and make sure I'm healthy at the end of the day.
I love the self-care component of that. Like you're starting the day with it, and it's a staple in your day. Like no matter what else the day throws at me, no matter what else I have to do, that part of my self-care is getting done.
Yes, has to.
Kudos on that. While we understand how beauty boosts confidence, and we do, tell me how you feel about the contrast of lowered self-esteem if you're not wearing any. Because you remember this moment with your friends and they're doing the makeup and it had you in your feelings a little bit, Yeah,
and what's crazy is that it was nowhere near as important back then as it is now.
Yeah.
But it did. I just felt like, wow, they all look so pretty to me, you know what I mean? And I was like, I want to feel as pretty as they look, And now I realize I'm very careful with my words when I'm talking to people or doing a YouTube video or a live video or just having a conversation. I don't want people to ever believe that they're not beautiful if they don't have makeup on. I want them to really understand that it's just an enhancement. It's like, bedazzling something. Like you're just putting rhinestones on it.
Right.
But the thing is already beautiful. You're just adding some flair to it. And I don't want them to think that they should have low self-confidence. I think that they just need to find their stride. Like, I don't try to be the girl with the liner drawn all the way out to here with the glitter. And if that's not me day to day, I can do that. But what I wear for my, get ready out the door look, I know that's not me. And I look at the girl who can do it, and I'm like, girl, you wear that every day. Like, you're banging, but also I'm banging too. I just do it my way. And I think people just need to look at it like that. Like, if I'm the girl who just puts Carmex on every day, I'm just as banging as the girl who did the full beat that day. And know that you can do it. It's just makeup. Like, you mess up, you wipe it off, and you can practice again. And eventually you will, if that's who you want to be, if you feel like the girl with all the lashes and everything is the it girl, you can be that if you want to. But just understand that it's makeup. It comes off. It goes on. And your spirit still has to be right at the end of the day.
I love hearing that from you. Because as a professional makeup artist, you're on set, you're doing celebrity makeup, you're beauty blogging, the trends, like so much about makeup, and I think it's such an important conversation for women, girls, especially girls, to hear, because it does affect their esteem so much. As women in general, it does, greatly affect the esteem. So I just love that you're setting out to empower so many people, that you're beautiful with that Carmex on. You're beautiful with your face beat. Like you're taking some of the emphasis off how a person looks with the makeup on. Right. You're beautiful now. You're beautiful with the makeup, without the makeup. Right. I just think that's super important. As an incredible contributor to the makeup industry, how do you personally encourage more women to practice self-love beyond the makeup? Like when you're obviously you're talking to your clients, but you're on this new mission now to empower women, and what would have been some of your efforts or anything in the future that you have coming up?
Well, I do have some things coming up in the future that I'm working on, actually. But even just on the day-to-day, or even when I do like skincare consulting or anything like that, I really want people to understand that it's like a journey. Just like if you want to lose weight, you got to work for it, right? Same thing with your skincare and makeup. Like you have to practice it. You can do it. It's doable, and make it like, a challenge for yourself. I don't want people to think that, again, like there's a standard that they have to meet or anything like that. Like it's just fun at the end of the day for me.
Right.
I think that's where it started off for me. It was just fun. And like I said, it was a challenge to myself. It was like, oh, I'm going to learn better than be better than my friends. I challenged myself. You know what I mean? But I wasn't crying. I wasn't like, oh my God, I don't look like them. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I just want people to understand that you can use makeup and skincare, anything to empower yourself. You can empower other people and share. I feel like the beauty community is usually willing to share now, but share with other people. If you worked hard to get rid of your acne, tell somebody, because you don't know. Maybe a girl or a guy has been struggling with that skincare issue, and maybe they can't afford to go to a dermatologist, and you've tried all the products in Target, because I have. In real life.
That's me.
Yeah, I've tried everything, so that's how I know what I know about skincare. So help somebody else. Tell them, like, how long does it take you? And it's free to tell somebody, hey, you know, I used Neutrogena or Clinique or Proactive, whatever it is that you use. Tell people this is what I use, and encourage them. Let them know, like, I was there. You know, I had the same skin issue as you, and I got through it. And you have no clue how much better people feel when you let them know, like, I've been there. It took me 6 months, but I was consistent. And I've literally seen people. I've gotten emails. I've even gotten video responses, letters of people saying, like, wow, you know, you really encouraged me to keep going, to keep trying. And a lot of people, some of the responses that I've gotten said, I feel like I'm just talking to a homegirl when I talk to you. You don't use rhetoric that's, you know, hard to understand for other people. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't believe in making anything difficult that I don't have to, especially if it, like I said, I didn't go to school for makeup. I didn't have, you know, like I said, I was able to shadow people, but I didn't have somebody sitting with me all day and all night really critiquing and grading. And I had to learn. by walking outside looking crazy sometimes. I remember I even had a guy I date said, you forgot to blend, you know?
Wow.
And it was, but he said it in the nicest way possible. He told me.
But he was like looking out for you.
He was looking out for me. He was like, you know, I don't know how you do it, but I know that's what people say. And I knew exactly what he meant. And honestly, and I was like, oh, and I just took my finger and fixed it. And that's when I realized, oh, you could blend your makeup with your fingers. You know what I mean? I was like, so again, I'm like, you know, it's the ask them, but don't be afraid to get that feedback. You know, when I was like, how do I look? And he said, oh, it looks like you need to blend something because it looks chunky. I was like, okay. I didn't cry. I wasn't like, oh, you don't love me. I was like, okay, well, he obviously doesn't want me to look stupid. So he's telling me this for a reason. Because if I go out looking stupid, I'm with him. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. Like, you have to be prepared to get that feedback and just use it to make yourself work harder as opposed to being sensitive about it.
You sound so emotionally strong.
I am not perfect, but yeah.
No one's perfect, but you sound very strong. And I think that you're the perfect person to be out in these streets, you know, motivating women and men and girls out here and their skincare journeys, their makeup journeys, you know, just giving people that boost of empowerment that I think we all need at some point in the day, you know. So keep up the good work. I think that's amazing. You've made it a personal mission to empower women in beauty. Any ideas or plans to work with teen girls in any way?
I'm actually working on that right now.
Okay.
I have this thing that I do every year. It's called a Beat and Bless giveaway. Beat and Bless is my business motto.
Okay.
Because again, that spiritual factor is really important to me. I can do your makeup great, but I really want you to feel good at the end of the day. I want you, like, I always hug my clients. I always say good luck on your speech or your photo shoot or your whatever. It's always like, we gotta laugh, we gotta have fun. That's really important to me. It's just like, you know, they say our hairdressers are our therapists. It's really important to me that when you get up from my chair, like, your nerves are calm, you're like, all right, I can do this. You gotta feel like a superwoman or a superman, you know? So I do this prom giveaway every year. And what I usually do it alone. This time I have a team of people that are willing to do nails and donate like dessert tables for the champagne party. So I usually at least try to give a makeover to a teen girl inner city who couldn't afford, because we know how expensive prom and champagne parties and all that stuff could be. So I do it because it's like, I get it. Again, I know what it feels like to be the girl who wants to be glammed up, and I'm not, you know. So if I can do it and you've worked hard, usually the criteria is, you know, that you've given back in some way, you have a 3.0 grade point average, and you can show me proof of acceptance to college, or if you're going to the Army, you can show me that you've enrolled, something like that. But I need to know that you have plans to do better and do more.
And you do that like at the end, like around this time?
Around this time, actually,
okay.
Yeah. And then I've done this once, but I'm trying to make it annual, where I usually will have somebody nominate them. And a woman who's survived domestic violence, cancer, anything in that frame. And we do a whole makeover day. I bring photographers, hairstylists, nail techs, wardrobe stylist, and they get made over and pampered and food and all that good stuff. And then at the end of all that, they get a free little photo shoot from a photographer just to make them feel good, because again, I know how it is to not feel good. So if I can make somebody feel good, just use my hands that God gave me by painting and, doing a face, and I know the power of that, I'll use it. So those are some of the charitable things I have going on.
Oh, my goodness, bless you for doing that. You're so passionate and inspiring. You have so many goals. There's so much to you, and there's so much. You really are teaching self-love, and you really are going back beyond the makeup. So if anybody wants to book you, or book you for a speaking engagement to their young girls,
I do that as well.
How do they get in contact with you?
So you can go to pjlovespj.com. That's my website. You can go to pjlovespj on all social media platforms. That Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, you name it. Everything is at that address. And again, you can reach me by email through the website if you go to pjlovespj.com.
Did you know the Chundria Show has a podcast available across 9 platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, and Google? Check out this recent interview with Lisa Zufall. Hello, friends. Thanks for tuning in to today's podcast of the Chundria Show. I'm super excited to discuss raising exceptional children as an amazingly brilliant woman. Allow me to introduce my special guest with a warm welcome, Lisa Zufall. Welcome, Lisa. Am I saying that right?
You are. You're saying it perfectly.
Spot on. All right. Names are important.
I am excited to be here.
Tell me about yourself and your business, Lisa.
Perfect. Okay. My business is Birch Solutions. And what we do is we offer mompreneurs the ability to become rock stars online so that they can go on and build their empire and still get the kids to soccer practice on time.
I love that. And what needs did you find that your business needed to fulfill? What were those needs when you started?
Well, anybody who's a mompreneur. Chandra, are you a mom? Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Okay. But I'm guessing that you know a few women who have kids and are trying to build their business.
Yes.
It's a completely different element, right? Because you're trying to do laundry, you're trying to get all the kids stuff organized and still be able to close those deals and get yourself out there and do it with confidence, even though you might have, some ketchup stains on your shirt, right?
Right.
So there's this whole element of stress around that for a mompreneur. And so what my goal is to help you gain your confidence online so you know that you're showing up in your best light online, so that when you go out and you meet clients and you're doing your thing, when they come to your website or they go to your social media feed, they know that you are the real deal. And that helps seal the deal for them so they can keep doing what they're doing and living in their brilliance.
I love that. I love that you have the female entrepreneur in mind and at the heart of and the pulse of your business. I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
You have an affinity for helping women in business. Why is that? Is it because you're a mom? Is it because you can relate? Is that the core of it?
Bingo, that's exactly it. Mm-hmm. As a mompreneur myself, I know that the struggle is real, right? From when I first started out having to wear so many hats of my own to watching other mompreneurs going through the same struggles as I went through. And so I've already blazed that path and figured out the best way to do that. And so I'm here to help them kind of step through that without going into the quicksand, right? I
love that you help remind women that they can do it all, and I think sometimes women are faced with the challenge of having to balance, juggle gracefully, or having to choose,
Right.
Sometimes it's either the business or the family, it's this life or that life. And, I love that you work incredibly hard to remind women that they can have whatever they want.
Yes. Well, and that's the goal, right? You can have it, and it is a balancing act, and it's not always going to be perfect. But let somebody else come in and walk alongside you and help you take care of those things that you may not be completely gifted in, right? I hear it all the time from mompreneurs, I don't know where I'm supposed to show up online, or gosh, I had my sister do my website and it doesn't seem to be pulling in many leads, right? And it's, you can go for the free way for a little while. Freeway, I mean the discounted family, friends and family helping you out. But sooner or later, if you really want to build that empire, you have to step it up a notch. And what I found with the clients that I have that go through Rock Your Website, it's a total transformation. It becomes now this whole confidence. It's like getting a new outfit or finding that perfect lipstick color, right? When suddenly this confidence just comes out and you start illuminating. And when you're confident in your business and you're confident knowing that when you show up online, everything comes together, right? And the way that you present yourself and what you do.
What's your secret to balancing? Because not only are you balancing your home life, you're balancing your business, and then you're balancing the help that you give to your clients. Right. What's your secret sauce to managing it all?
Resources.
Okay.
Having those people come in and step in where I'm not truly gifted, right? I have a full-time CPA who takes care of all the bookworks, all the payroll, everything, right? And gives me my updated numbers. So if I have a question on my numbers, she's the person that I go to. And she has a team. She's a mompreneur and she has a full team, right? So she's not trying to do it all herself. And I think that's the beauty of it. If we all come together and we help each other and bring our gifts to the table, it just rises everybody up.
How do you ensure that you get it all done? You know, is there a checklist?
Oh, you don't.
Okay.
You don't. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to get it all done. That is an enormous amount of pressure I think we as women put on ourselves, making sure that we tackle everything during the day. And Mel Robbins, I don't know if you're familiar with her. She does weekly Facebook Lives, right? And I think it's Monday where she comes out and she gives so much sage advice. But one of her things is just one thing every day that you want to accomplish, right? And when you do that and you accomplish that, then it makes your life a little bit easier because now you're not trying to eat the whole elephant in one bite. You're actually taking a nibble off of it at a time, which brings you farther than somebody who is stuck in what they call, what's the word? Analysis paralysis, where there's so much to do and the list is so big, they just don't do it. And because they don't know where to
do anything rather than you get nothing done.
Right. So my thing with my clients is just take it a step at a time. What is the first thing that we need? If it's money in your pocket, then we situate you in a way that helps you get that money in your pocket. Is it to expand your offerings? Is it to grow your market share? I mean, what is your first thing that you want to take care of?
Love that. As a powerhouse career woman yourself, how do you develop personal power in your children? Like, what ways do you teach them mental strength?
Oh, there's this great book. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, he gives so many valuable nuggets about how to raise your kids. I mean, it's valuable nuggets for us as adults. But I think it's Robert Kawasaki, right, who wrote it. And the big differentiator is when you're a poor dad, you say, oh, sorry, son, we don't have the money. And the rich dad mindset is, well, let's figure out a way to get the money. Right? It's a completely different shift. And when you're an entrepreneur, most of us are high risk takers, right? We are the ones who were either ostracized in school because we were too smart or we kind of geeky and we stood out, or we were the ones who just didn't really follow along with everything else that everybody was doing.
To your own drum.
Right. And so as entrepreneurs, we're still doing that and our kids are seeing that. Right. And I hear the vibe all the time from entrepreneurs. It's how do I get to that next step? How do I make that money? How do I do that? And they stop coming up with the excuses of, oh, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. They figure out how to make that happen. What's your priority? And that's the biggest thing for an entrepreneur, a mompreneur, a solopreneur, anybody who's in the business of building their own business. It's what's my priority? What do I want to accomplish? And then taking those baby steps to get there every day.
And then your kids are watching and they're learning.
What's really funny is my son was, I think like 3 years old, right? And as I'm starting out on my journey, I'm making sales phone calls every day, like 30 to 50 sales phone calls. So by the time he was 3 years old, he had my sales calls down to every single word, and he had memorized my phone number. That's the best way to get your kids to memorize, your phone number in case of an emergency.
How old is he now?
He is now 13.
Oh, wow. That is so cute. He's your junior salesman.
Yeah, so say my sales phone calls, he thought it was the cutest thing in the world. And then when he started preschool, they would ask him he was the only kid in class who knew what his mom's number was. And he knew his mom's full name. This is Lisa Zufall from Birch Solutions. And my number is.
That is so cute. Oh wow! So I mean that's incredible that he learned that, like, by watching your every move, listening. You know, kids pick up on so much. You know, you're 3 years old, you're not thinking that your child is picking up on that, and he is. Your child.
They absorb everything that you're doing. They see how you're working. They see what you're delivering, and when you're working those long hours, and they see that you're striving for something better. Mm-hmm. What I found is it's a motivator for them to step it up a notch as well, right? Because suddenly they realize that the world is full of rules that people have put into place, but you as an individual can create your own rules and your own world by stepping into that and understanding that.
It's awesome that to be so young, and that's what you know at an early age, you know, as opposed to maybe being 15 and then your mom starts a business, you know, where you got to see like the two different worlds of, you know, maybe working 9 to 5 versus having your own business. It's really kind of cool that he just grew up in that early, that's his normal in the household.
It's his normal. And what's really funny, that example that you just gave, my daughter was 13. She must have been around 13. I don't know. When they get older, I just kind of how old they are.
Your age.
When I started, right? And I was in corporate before that. So she was used to mom working 9 to 5, you know, weekends, vacations, all that stuff. And when I started my own business, it was a whole different ball of wax, which can be uncomfortable for a teenager who wants to have a life and needs mom to be there for all these things. And, you know, you have to strike that balance. Now she is 20, soon to be 27.
What? You're walking around with a 27-year-old? Go, girl.
She wants to start her own business.
Oh, that's awesome. So I know that pulls on your heartstrings, you know, as a mompreneur. I know that's just like music to your ears. Like, and then who better to help guide her along the way than someone like yourself?
I'm so excited for her.
What industry does she want to go into?
She doesn't know. So she's going to come aboard and join my team. Mm-hmm. And she's going to see how it all works and get the inside scoop and have me there to ask questions and kind of see, because it's not all glitz and glamour, right? Any entrepreneur who is listening to this knows that it is not, you know, high heels and limousines every day. Mm-hmm. Most of the time your hair is in a pony and you're just plugging away as fast as you can to get as much done, right? So she gets to see both sides of that, right? Because she sees me doing the really fun stuff and she's like, oh, that would be awesome. I want to be part of that.
Now she gets her own schedule.
Now she can see the whole thing. It's not all glitz and glamour.